dream journal I used to draw down dreams that I had. So we're gonna go over the weirdest ones, like story time. So this first one is one of the weirdest. So me and a bunch of people were jumping around and like flying through a landscape of densely packed, weird looking houses and buildings. So the densely packed houses, they looked like the combination of densely packed houses in a good way and in a bad way. So they like look like the combination between suburbs and slums. So while we're flying through this environment, we sometimes entered into the houses through the windows and then left through other windows. This particular one, I flew in through this window, and the environment inside was exactly like this, with the window rolled up and the curtains blowing in the wind. And there was a human-like figure made out of light sitting in a rocking chair. And the other window that I exited through was on the floor. Yeah. So this one is one particular scene from the dream. I don't remember what the rest of the dream was about. But in this scene, this is Mars, I think. And the landscape was kind of weird. It was like purple, bluish. And the texture was like moon type with craters and all. And that's SpongeBob. And I don't remember if Patrick was there. And this whole thing was there. The texture was exactly like this. It kind of looks like corals, but at the same time it looks like it has like negative space in it and stuff. Not sure what it was. Sky had a lot of stars, and that moon was also there. So this one's an interesting one. So this dream was about a zombie apocalypse. So the main characters were running as more and more of the earth was becoming infected by the zombie virus. And not just human zombies. As you can see, there are dinosaur zombies and stuff. So they were running through this dark forest environment, and there was Kong with them. And he turned around and killed a monkey zombie that was a monkey like Kong. And from the dark, Kong looked up and saw from the dark, barely, the zombified version of Godzilla. So Godzilla and Kong here looks a lot smaller than they are otherwise. But this was like a holy kind of moment where Kong goes, Godzilla's a zombie. What do you do? So this one is about a monster hunter who was hired to take out a wild wolf. And the wild wolf had its lair, and its lair was like this, like huge rooms with gigantic pillars, a whole ass castle. And this scene was when the monster hunter was just frantically running around while the wild wolf was giving chase. So the monster hunter was just cutting corners and then attacking and then running again. And this one is about playing a weird board gambling game with dogs for some reason. This one is from a long time ago. I saw my principal turn into a miniature dinosaur. No questions. So this one started there. This one depicts a sporting event where I participated, where the goal is to climb up this ladder that's supported by absolutely nothing. So a bunch of ladders attached to each other can totally fall, supported by nothing. You're meant to climb it up and be at the top, and then the ladder's gonna fall forwards and you're gonna brace for the bottom. And I was climbing up and I couldn't reach the top because the fear of height was getting to me. So you can see the other participants look really disappointed in me. Yeah. So this one is really eldritch This guy just got randomly teleported. I don't remember the specific situation, but he got teleported to this huge hallway that's clearly in space. You can see space all over. The roof isn't complete, it's pieces of slabs. And at the end of the hallway is this council of gigantic human type figures with owl masks. Secret society kind of stuff. So this one is one that I didn't complete, but I'm gonna tell you the story anyways. It's about the fungal uprising. So instead of a zombie uprising, there's a fungus uprising. This one is from that one episode from Ben 10. So the sky is covered up, so everywhere it's darkness, and the fungus want to eat everybody. But their only weakness is light, sunlight. So this base where a lot of survivors are camping, it's up in a mountain. They've set up all sorts of defenses here. The fungus are crawling up the mountain, and they have to like fight off a horde of fungus. And they do that by slingshotting huge boulders into the sky, and the boulders penetrate into the cloud and make a little opening. So sunlight comes and they focus the sunlight in using a magnifying glass and blast it onto the fungal monsters. So it's about that. In this dream, I saw that in the future, people would build cities on top of gigantic stingrays. That's a stingray, but from the front. And the stingrays are gonna like float on the surface of the sea, and the cities are fine, right? But the problem is, people created these gigantic stingrays, and now a rogue stingray is like coming from the bottom. It's about to ram into this one, and it's gonna do it, and the entire thing's gonna fall apart and explode. So building cities on stingrays is not a good idea. This one is an incredibly old dream, and it's also one of the most memorable. So I was running down the staircase with like another kid, and we were running from a monster. But then the monster appeared in front of us, and what this monster actually is just a rolled up blanket, but it has arms and legs, and the coiling pattern created by the rolled up part of the blanket, that's just rows of teeth. So what it did is it just grabbed me and put me in its mouth. And the weird thing is that I actually felt pain from the biting. So this is my experience of experiencing pain in a dream. In this one, scientists have figured out a way to like save our planet for some reason, like maybe it was in danger, to save our planet by teleported into an alternate dimension. And the way that teleporting worked was that this is the controls, and they summoned that. That thing is like a giant worm, but it's incredibly thin. It's basically a giant tube. And it appeared in the atmosphere, and because it's so big, it appeared like white and kind of transparent looking, just like seeing the moon during daytime. So it like slowly engulfed the entire horizon, and you can feel that the planet's inside it. And then it kept going, and the planet came out the other side. The whole thing I was seeing from this perspective on the ground. The planet came out the other side, and on the other side, it looked like a way bigger planet where just the hills and mountains was as big as our planet. So I'll end with this one, but this one is huge. This one was basically a whole ass movie about the dangers of drug use that I got to saw in my head. So what happened was that there's this village, right? So it's enclosed by a huge circular wall of really tall wall of wood. And there's some space inside, and then another circular wall. Inside that circular wall, there's like suburbs, houses, and supermarkets. Between the two walls, there's space for public gatherings and stuff. So this village is like an enclosed community, and people there during religious festivals, they drink a particular type of gooey black liquid that comes out of a tap. It's slightly addictive, and they drink that religiously, kind of like Christians drinking wine in church. So that gooey liquid is actually good for their health because what it does is that it makes you lose weight. So if you drink it, you lose like 1.5 sorry like 0.5 pounds of weight. So if you're fat, drinking it every now and then is helpful. So an opportunistic circus noticed this village, and came here to hold a festival or a party. And they did this in the space between the inner wall and the outer wall, where the public gatherings are supposed to be held. And they invited all the adults, leaving out the children. And the thing took place during nighttime. So all the adults were in this huge room made out of wood, where they were in the festival, while the children were in the inner circle in the houses and stuff. Now, so the circus people, they introduced the idea of drinking the holy drink recreationally. And people bought into it because it's a healthy thing. So they started drinking it. But too much of anything is a bad thing. We'll find out about that later. So as they kept drinking it, they kept getting skinnier and skinnier until people started vanishing. So you lose weight until you're so small that one more glass is gonna make you vanish. So that's how people started dying one by one, by drinking themselves to death, by losing weight to death. They just vanish. So while this was going on, and the people inside the big wooden box were excessively addicted to the drink, and they were continuously drinking it, knowing that it's killing them, the circus people went into the inner circle and kidnapped all the kids, and they robbed all the houses and took everyone's worldly belongings. And this scene is the last person, the last man in the entire village, last adult. I was seeing it partially through his perspective, by the way. He is one drink away, one cup away from literally vanishing. He's like so skinny, one more cup is gonna make him disappear. But he knows that, and every single cup he has drunk for the last couple of cups, it felt worse and worse with every cup. He drank it, by the end of it, he was drinking it to avoid suffering, to like make the suffering stop. But it got worse with every single cup, but it still can't stop. That's kind of the feeling you get from real life addiction, by the way. So he's one cup away from vanishing, and the circus people were leaving, taking all the belongings there, and the main circus guy came in and he's encouraging him. Drink one more cup. He's encouraging him. The tap from which the liquid comes out is somewhere around here, out of view. So he's maybe about to get up and drink one more cup and disappear, or maybe not. We don't know, and not sure if it'll make too much difference. So it's really grim. Okay, let's end in a less depressing dream. This one was about God of War Kratos walking a gigantic staircase into space, and he's going right across Jupiter there. So, huge staircase that's held by nothing.